Welcome to another YouTube broadcast on how to thrive as a worker, as a leader, a frontline team, as a team member, whatever it might be, how you can thrive in this remote working environment. This is our third session for those of you who have been with us on the journey. I don't know how you feel about part 3, Godfather part 3, not as good, Bad Boys part 3, perhaps the best in the series. So something to think about there. And for those of you that haven't yet caught up, please make sure if you want, if you have time, have a look at the other bits and pieces in the other videos in the playlist that we've got on the YouTube channel. Last week we were chatting a little. Sorry, last session we were chatting a bit about stress and the impact of stress on our work and how we can try to do things to make us be a little bit less stressed. And I want to think about one of those things today. One of the things that we talked about being stressed is sometimes you can have a lack of focus. So then what happens actually is we go from a lack of focus one side and then we can swing completely the other way to total laser focus. I will just hone in on that one thing. And there's a real risk to doing that. So I think as family, we family holiday, we'll go down to Cornwall. So I have my single focus, get the family to Cornwall. Great, that sort of sounds good. That makes sense. If that's my only focus, get to Cornwall, I don't give any consideration to the speed I'm driving, traffic conditions, how the kids are doing, if they need to stop and go to the toilet, whatever, all those other surrounding things. If I don't give any consideration to those, I just have this laser focus, get to Cornwall, then actually intuitively know that's a bad idea. That doesn't really make any sense. But what can sometimes happen is we, in uncertain times, we look for what is certain, what is sure, what can I zone in on? And we can get a bit laser focused, a bit just honed in on the one thing. The problem is, though, having just a focus on that one thing can actually blur the bigger picture. So we're just so focused on this one thing here, it blurs everything else. So then you'll see it with cameras, don't you? If you zoom in on one thing, the background, the big picture can blur. So how can we avoid that? How can we still be brilliant, still get the things done we need to get done, but actually not do that in such a targeted, focused way we lose the bigger picture? And I think this can be a challenge for leaders, particularly when we're not having those other. And there's a reason you actually lose a lot of the people element, the natural aspect, the human interaction, that great stuff as well. So what happens in the human brain is there's a thing. And so once you've made the decision, oh, that's a bit casual, I don't like that, what you do is then you look for things that reinforce your opinion of, I've made the right decision. So I've decided I don't like this, so therefore I'll just find evidence to back up my view. Prime example, I don't know if you've ever done it when you're buying a new car. For about 5 years ago, I was buying a new car, silver car. As I was coming back from the garage, every car was a silver car. Was it really? No. Cognitive bias was just looking out for the things that supported where my head was at. And we can end up with this if we're not really, really careful in the way we work, in the way we operate, particularly in this environment. It might be that as a leader, you think, people don't work as hard if they're at home. And I knew a lady like this. And so then she would just draw her eye to every stat that suggested people weren't working quite as hard. Was it true? No. It was just taking evidence that hung and supported her argument really, really well. So she lost sight of the bigger picture of stuff. Interestingly, I hear about this kind of thing with conversations we might have with our customers. You may be partway through a call and think, this customer's difficult. So then what do? Well, you look for everything that supports your view that customer is difficult. You've got a laser focus of difficult customer. And so then everything supports that. And actually, sometimes training doesn't help. The number of organizations who will go on a difficult conversations training. Well, then what you've done is you've pushed the brain to this predisposition of this will be difficult. So now I'm going to find everything to support my argument. You see the risk? If we are focused and honed in on just the one thing, we look for what will build and support this. So what can we do? Because the more focused we are, the less of the big picture we see, the less creative we're going to be, the less imaginative we're going to be, the less innovative we're going to be. And these are times when we really need innovation, creativity. We need people to thrive in this environment so we can continue to deliver great customer service. And one way as a leader you can do this is have a really clear think about, well, what are the things that we want to be focused on today? And how do I communicate that? I was in medical sales a while back ago. I sold spinal implants. And I had a really laser focus on hit your sales number, hit your sales number, hit your sales number. I remember one of the hospitals I looked after was Lincoln Hospital. And around, if you've ever been around Lincolnshire, lots of straight roads and motorcyclists to really unleash. And I remember that quite often you would, if there was a smash, often over a bank holiday when more people are out and about. But if there was a smash, then there'd be a surgery and there'd be a sale for me. And I remember ringing the hospital once, and it's with shame that I recount this story, but I hope you can latch on to the power of it. I rang the hospital on the Tuesday after the bank holiday and said, have there been any cases, any surgeries coming up? And they said no. I was so laser focused on my sales target that I was disappointed. I was therefore disappointed that no one had had a potentially life-changing smash on a motorbike. Not because that's the sort of person I am, but I was so laser focused on sales, I'd lost sight of human people and just natural interaction, the stuff that makes going to work really, really difficult. So my ask is this: as leaders and as home workers on your own, each day when you're setting out what am I going for today, have a think about what am I working towards? What am I aiming for today? Not so I have a laser focus to the cost of everything else, but if this is the thing I want to get done, what are the other things? What are the parameters to think about? And start to maybe consider, well, how else might I do that? A great way to do this is just simply mind mapping it in the middle of a page, right? What do I want to achieve? What's my focus today? And then start to creatively, well, how might I achieve that? And if I do that, what else might be impacted? And what else might I need to consider? And within those considerations, please, please, please make sure human connection, conversation, interaction, engagement, all the stuff, there's not a number against it, but is so, so key to you feeling better so you can thrive. Because when you're at your best, you'll be able to deliver far, far better customer service. So that's what I wanted to say today, just about this laser focus. Have a think about it, focus on what's right, map it out so you can see the broader impact. Don't lose sight of the big picture. A friend of mine's a vicar, and once he was telling me a story about how he used stained glass window as an analogy for this. He said, if I stand with my nose like that up to the stained glass window, the world is blue. Just a single focus, the world is blue. But when I take a step back and step back and step back, I see the bigger picture. So today, maybe pause, take a moment, have a coffee, go for a walk, breathe, have a think about what you want to achieve, but think about the bigger picture as well. That's what I wanted to say. Have a great, great weekend. I nearly lost track of days and couldn't say have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. It is a weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on Wednesday next week. So take care, stay safe.